Welcome back to Happy Maybe.
Welcome back to Happy Maybe. Hi, Vasily.
Hello, Nikita.
What are we going to talk about? Well, let's pick a topic. I was at a social event when I was giving a little bit 15 minutes long TED Talk style presentation about a topic that I liked. And later on, and I realized that I actually really like talking. I like talking in front of people. I actually like talking in front of people a lot more than even talking to people later. I don't know what that tells you about me. And when I did it,
You told me that you were almost not in the mood to record this because you were at a social event and you were being an extrovert, as you said. Where do you classify yourself on the spectrum, introvert versus extrovert?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed giving the presentation. I didn't even stay for much of the socialization. But generally speaking, I enjoy going by myself to events where I don't even know anyone. It seems fun. It's good talking stuff. So I guess by conventional standards, I will be an extrovert. And I often wonder if I am until I meet people who are true introverts, and that makes more sense. And I imagine you are an introvert, right?
I thought so for a while. Once I learned about the classification, I thought I was an introvert, but then I realized I am somewhere in the middle, fluctuating. Because, okay, like you said, when you meet a true extreme introvert, you just know, okay, you're not that person. You're not the same. You know, they're just too quiet, too self-conscious, or less interested in being heard, understood. At least it seems like this on the surface. Where extroverts are tireless, loud, or engaged for a very long time. Extroverts are often surprised and maybe disappointed that you're already leaving the party, that I'm leaving the party a little bit too soon. Come on, it's only been 3 hours. You know, we still have a lot of drinks and stuff like that. And for me, I'm like, okay, I'm done. But what's interesting about extroverts that I found in life, like, let's just call them extroverted people, more extroverted. They don't have a radar, a sensor to detect introverts very easily. I think they see the world as extroverted in general. So if I have my extroverted side, it's perceived by extroverted people as complete extroversion, like that I am just 100% with them. That's why they're so surprised when I choose to say goodbye at some point. I'm like, okay, I actually kind of tired. I have to go. They're like, what? Like, well, come on, we're just getting started. You know, I'm like, I just don't want anything else in the world right now other than take a walk down the street by myself, get into my apartment, sit on the couch, watch something, use my phone, whatever it can be, just not being around people, not answering questions, not telling stories. Where are you in this?
I think it's worth mentioning that neither of us are really truly qualified to even talk about this because there is probably some official definition of what extroversion and introversion is. And I suspect that I hope you're not Googling it.
I'm definitely going to Google it.
But I suspect, I suspect that the public opinion or public perspective on what extroversion and introversion is different from the official definition, and I know for a fact that it is different from the original definition that Carl Jung came up with. I remember reading the autobiography or the book about his life, not sure if it was written by him, where they say that at some point he was talking with Freud and another psychologist at the time, and they were studying the same problems, but they were coming up with completely different explanations for the same problems. And he was perplexed and amused how come the two people that see the same things and describe them in the same way seem to come up with two different ways of looking at it. And so he called one of them extroverted perspective, and the other one as introverted perspective. And the way he described it, I believe, don't quote me on this, it's been a few years, but essentially he described it as people who emphasize the inner experience and people who emphasize the outer experience, or people who see outside through the inside or inside through the outside, essentially. It is only later, I think, that we are now seeing extroverted people as like those who party on a Friday night, and introverted people as those who have, I don't know,
stay at home reading a book on the Friday night.
Yes. And there's another definition that is more common. I imagine this is the one you must be looking at, which is that I think how you gain energy, right? Do you gain energy by socializing, or do you lose energy by socializing?
That's a common one. It's a very popular one. And the more I read about these things, and I just quickly scanned a couple of blog posts where the authors put bullet points of what is typical for an introverted person versus what's typical for an extroverted person. And every time I read this or hear about these things, I realize I have all of those qualities from both sides completely, like at different times, sometimes in the same day, sometimes in the same hour. So, it's like people asking, are you a cat person or a dog person, as if it were a real thing, a real classification. And my answer is I'm both. I can pet a dog with my right hand and a cat with my left hand and not even consider that one of them is somehow more appealing to me.
I was about to say that I'm not a big fan of the arbitrary Boolean classifications in general, left, right, A, B, black and white and such. I do understand that there are probably people who are a lot more extreme on the spectrum of being more extroverted and being more introverted. It does make sense. But I also at different times feel differently.
I'll make a controversial point that, sorry, I just want to throw it out there. I think this classification is bullcrap. It doesn't really have legs, introvert versus extrovert.
Since I'm really qualified to make this statement, I am going to agree with you. I think it is not very helpful, or at least it hasn't been to me. But why do people care so much why did it, out of all of the psychological concepts introduced by Carl Jung, nobody's talking about their anima or their, what is it that he calls, like subconscious, well, everybody's talking about subconscious now, but why is it that it is so important? There's like this whole thing that people say that, oh no, extroverts run the world. Don't you realize it?
While the introverts are quietly pulling the strings of the extroverts. Don't you realize that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
In one of the next episodes, I want to talk about signs of zodiac as a measure of people's personality, as well as blood type in some Asian countries, like in Japan, for example. Because I'll dig it up, and once I'll read it to you, we'll be laughing and we'll be like, wow, people really believe that blood type makes you quiet or something like that. Anyway, but I think introvert versus extrovert is an easy classification. It's black and white. That's why it's appealing.
I mean, zodiac types. I will say things right now. When I spent 2 months in LA, the one thing that I learned is people say, hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? Nice. Where are you from? What's your zodiac sign? That was literally maybe the second or the third question. And it was like the thing that people did in LA. And then wait for it. They'd be like, so what's your zodiac sign? Virgo. Oh, you're a Virgo? Oh, that explains everything.
Exactly. That makes sense now.
But wait for it. There's also like a deeper level. And again, I only had this experience in LA. Nobody else, anywhere else was asking me this. But it's like, what is your... I don't remember the exact terminology. It's like sun rising and moon rising. There's like other aspects
of the zodiac
that are specific to your zodiac astrological disposition. So they would ask me that, and I had to consult my mom, who is, mind you, a professional astrologer for the last 30 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Except not in the US. And I had to ask her what my moon rising and sun rising is, or sun rising I think is the convention. Whatever, I know too much about this.
What time were you born? What hour? Right, this kind of stuff.
No, this is fascinating. I mean, let's see what other interesting, relatively arbitrary, like for example, the 12 personality types.
It's yet another one,
right? Isn't that amazing? Every time I go through these questions, I've done it. I try to do it once a year just to see if there's any science to it, like just to see if I seem to give similar answers. I have been relatively consistent, and I really like the way it describes me as far as I can tell. I remember at work, on my previous job, we had this like a team building event where they had people fill out a questionnaire and they were assigned a color, one of 4 colors, and then you would look at the team composition based on the color that you have on the team. So if you have like too many yellow colors, that means you care too much, and too many red, that means you're too aggressive in change but don't care about the feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah. And all these things are designed to alleviate certain pains or issues that people may have with related to lack of self-awareness about their personality traits. And it seems like once you know who you are and who you're dealing with in your immediate circles, then you can construct your conversations and interactions better, and everyone will be in more harmony, which leads to more happiness in the workplace or in your friends circles. So that's why I think it's important for people to see, okay, what's your sign? Oh, okay, you are that. Then it means like I need to put you together with this person or adjust my time in conversation with you, because clearly Tauruses and Scorpios are either best friends or arch enemies. Or this blood type makes me realize that we could not work together, but we could be good friends. Blah, blah, blah. This kind of stuff. It's a weird desire to be comfortable with people by sort of undressing them spiritually or virtually somehow. Like, okay, oh, now I see you. Categorizing. Yeah.
Categorizing, I guess, is the word, right? It helps when you have a category. I still don't have a strong and clear enough opinion about astrology. Mind you, once again, my close family member is an astrologer, so I am supposed to have an opinion about it, but I haven't been able to make up an opinion. So I just treat it as a thing that I don't have an opinion about. But, psychological tests and things like 12 personalities and things like those types of tests, they make sense, I guess, right? Because you can pretty much just ask 100 questions and then you can bucket the individuals in terms of the answers. And I can definitely see, like, for example, at work, I have people on my team who really don't like meetings. They hate meetings. They hate being on a video call. I love being on a video call. I would just do it every day, except nobody wants to do it but me. I like having video meetings. I'm fine with it. And there are people on my team who much rather prefer asynchronous forms of communication, so I have to adjust so we all are happy. And I didn't realize it at first, so I had to learn about it, recognize that they are different, and then do different things. So I do think that knowing at least, I'm sure we all probably know our own dispositions to life and how we treat it, but knowing another person and knowing what they want can be useful.
It certainly can be useful, because some of these approaches, they have merit. Yeah, they're based in some research and comparison of large data sets. At least that's what I want to believe. I've never studied, like you keep mentioning the disclaimer, both of us are not experts on psychological classifications, but certainly it helps. When you have some kind of system of coordinates, you can start making decisions. It's another question, what happens if the system is completely wrong, completely off and baseless, then what decisions can you make? There will be just as random as any other system that you intuitively come up with. So yeah, and I want to mention a book that I'm reading. It's called 50 Popular Beliefs That People Think Are True by Guy Harrison. And he also touches on astrology. Basically everything he touches upon, he debunks, including astrology. He says there's no proof that it's scientific, that it works, that there's anything to it. Same with predictions by Nostradamus and spiritual wonders of the world and stuff like that. That all of this is only stories in our heads. Nothing really about it is scientifically provable.
Spoken like a true Virgo.
Blood type A. Okay. Well, it's been fun to talk about this stuff. Next time, definitely tell me all of your data, zodiac and blood types and stuff like that. But with this, as an introverted person, I'm gonna go crawl into my hole and recover.
Nice.
And you're gonna do the same.
Well, that was nice. Thank you, Vasily.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.